All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Segray, and this is Hey, Let's Start a Band. And today I want to talk about how much your band image, your clothing, your photo, etc., how much impact that has on your band. I'm going to show you some pictures of a band, and I'm going to start off with them just basically dressed in their street clothing. So here I'm going to show you image one is this band. But anyway, this band, they look pretty good. Now, one thing I notice is you can't really tell what style of music they play just by their photo. You can't tell. Looks to me like, if I was going to guess, I would say it was some kind of rock, but I'm not really sure. Now let's make believe this band really is a new country band. Now, here's what they would be presenting if they were dressed as a new country band. They're telling the people that see this image and on stage when they walk out, this is what we represent. This is who we are. They have an image. So it's quite a bit different. Let's go back to the first picture. This is the band. They're just four guys. Really, these guys are dressed less for the stage than I am just because of my hat and my glasses. But otherwise, I have tennies on, jeans, and a t-shirt, which is pretty much all these guys, except for two of them have flannel shirts. So these guys aren't really dressed in their original picture any different than any of us are, just walking into the music store or whatever. Okay, now I'm going to show you what their difference would be if they were different types of bands. Okay, we're going to go to this next band. Let's say this band was a really hard rock band. Okay, here's their photo now. Look at how they're dressed. You can tell right away just by looking at their photo what style of music they play. When they walk out on stage, people say, yeah, man, this is going to kick butt, man. They know right away what kind of music they play. You can't tell that from the first image. If they walked out on stage and played really hard rock, you wouldn't know it by their photo, is what I'm trying to say. Their image doesn't represent who they are. Okay, this applies to all styles. I'm going to go here. Let's say they were more of an Americana band. This is pretty close to the country, but it's a little bit different. A little bit more of a Western vibe to it. Not country like new country, but a little more dirt and back road type of music. But you can tell that just by looking at the image. So we want to present ourselves how we really are musically. We need to do that visually. Well, let's assume this band is really a variety band. Okay, here's this band as a variety band. They play weddings, they play private parties, maybe they play some casinos, and there's a lot of bar and grills that'll hire variety bands too. Actually, there are probably quite a few local bands that are variety bands. So this would work, and a lot of people, local musicians, they already have clothing like this that they wear. So that one would be easy. Let's assume these guys are a punk band. Here you go. Now the photo, the backdrop with the graffiti and the guy's spiked hair. Now that's the same guy that had the cowboy hat on, right? The first guy here, he's got some studs on his jacket and stuff, and they have chains. They all have tennies on. So they look punk. They look the part. When you see their photo, you know, hey, these guys are a little bit rebellious. Okay. Now, let's say these guys play yacht rock, which is like Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, I think is his name, that kind of stuff. Steely Dan, I guess, would be considered yacht rock. They're dressed the part. And actually, I love this photo of the hat on the guy. Look at the difference between the cowboy hat. Just changing the hat. Well, he changed a lot more than the hat, but everything down to the shoes. See, if they didn't dress all the way, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. It would make a difference, but if they all had sneakers on or one guy had cowboy boots or something, it has to fit. It has to fit the vibe. And this is kind of difficult to do when you have a band because you have you might have one guy that just says, I'm not wearing that crap, and I've had people quit a band over a hat already. They didn't want to wear a certain hat. And I was in a band once, and we were a dance band, and the band wanted to wear spandex because a lot of popular 80s bands were doing that. I wore spandex one night, and I will never wear spandex on stage again. But it's just like anything but spandex. I felt like I was naked, and I felt like I was wearing nylon. So it was really uncomfortable. I did it one night live, and I'm like, never again. Never again. So it's a touchy thing. Like this yacht rock thing wouldn't be that hard to really, I wouldn't have a problem dressing like that if I was in a band. So if it's going to create this image what it does is when you present yourself, it's like going to a job interview. You're not going to walk in there in jeans and tennies and a t-shirt, hopefully, especially if it's for any kind of a business administrative job or something like that. You're going to dress for success. And that's what this is. These guys are dressed for success. And I noticed the name of the band is Smooth Sailing. Okay, now the same guys. These are the same guys. Let's go back to the first image again in case we forgot who they are. This is them. This is that first band. They're just guys. But now they're yacht rock, right? They're yacht rock. Okay, let's move on. I threw in a Christian contemporary band, but they kind of look like the Americana band. And actually, most contemporary Christian, like a worship team, this would be, they kind of just wear whatever they want anyway. So it's kind of hard to, I don't know, maybe I've been on about 10 worship teams, and we never talked about clothing or anything like that. It's a lot of volunteer. There isn't that much emphasis on the clothing. Let's move on. Okay, look at these guys. You know right away these guys kick ass. Whoever they are, we know walking into the club is going to be a monster show. This is this really hard rock. You know these guys are bad. And you can tell everything about them's awesome. Look at the boots. And they didn't go halfway. You can't go halfway on this stuff. These guys went all out. They look awesome. Compared to that first photo. Now, what if that first band was actually this type of music, but they didn't dress the part? And now look at them. Now they're dressed the part. They walk out on stage. Everybody knows right away. They know before they get there what to expect, sort of. They come out on stage. They are going to rock. You know it. It's awesome. I love this photo. Okay. These guys, they're all really bright colors. Okay, this would be like, imagine the same guys, but they're kind of like an 80s dance band. And they're playing at casino lounges. And they maybe could do weddings and stuff too. They could do town festivals. They could play big local bars too if their music fit that venue. And looking at them, they look like they're ready to party. To me, I like the guy if you look at the outfits, like the guy with the hat on and the blue shoes match the jacket, and that kind of stuff's really cool. People notice that from the crowd. They'll look at your shoes and stuff and they'll say, I've had people in the crowd already that I used to wear a brown bowler and round glasses because I went for more of the folk rock look and I wanted it to look a little bit more folkish. I had a farmer foot drum that was all wood, an acoustic guitar. Everything was wood. And I wanted to present that vibe. Brown hat. This hat I got on a different occasion for some special event. But anyway, and I changed my glasses when I moved a year ago, and I liked these glasses and bought them. And I'm like, well, I can't really wear a brown bowler with these black glasses. So, but anyway, I've already gone to a club without my hat on just to go out to dinner, but a place that I played at, and people didn't recognize me. They, hey man, hey, they paused for a second, and then they said, it's you, and I go, yeah, I didn't recognize you with your hat, without your hat on. So it's an identifier. So anyway, if you're looking at, these guys are all different. but they all match. Even though they're different, they still match. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, now imagine that first band that we looked at, those four guys dressed. These are the same four guys in every picture. Now look at these guys. They're a jazz band. And you can tell the photo they have here, it's a really elegant looking place, venue, with a wooden background. They all have suits on. Look at their shoes. They all have shiny black shoes on. One guy didn't walk out in tennis shoes or loafers. You know, they're together. They're a unit. Their jackets are very close. One guy's got the hat, but they match. In a way, they match, but they're all not exactly the same. But you know, okay, what style of music? Just by looking at these guys in their environment, what style of music are they? They're either jazz, something upscale, right? You can tell upscale by the way they're dressed and the venue, just by the photo. You didn't even hear anything these guys played yet, but you already have an idea. Now, if there was a saxophone leaning there up against a wall or something, that would give you more of a, that actually would have went good in this photo with the lighting in there, a saxophone sitting somewhere. But anyway, it's a pretty cool photo. But we know we can get an idea of their musical style just by their image. Okay, here's another band. These guys, I would say, they're kind of a pop, fun, energetic band. Here we got, the lighting here is like light blue neon, and the backdrop's fresh. It kind of says fresh. But one thing I notice about them is it's black and white, but the guy crouched down, he's got silver on. And actually, I'm going to show you two photos here. This is the first one. And I said, you know what these guys need? That guy crouching down, I said, he needs something else. He needs to be different than the other guys. So I added silver sneakers to him and a hat. Now he just looks a little more, he looks more like he's an instigator. He's the guy that's going to get the crowd going. Out of all four of these guys, that guy crouched down with the hat and the way he's looking at the camera, he looks like the front man. I mean, those other two guys are standing with the black are either the drummer and the bass player, and the other, just the guy pointing and smiling, gives you a fun attitude just by looking at them. Okay, they're going to be fun. The guy crouching down is a little cocky, so it tells you something about these guys just from their image. And they all have tennis shoes on, and tennis shoes says, we're moving. We're not going to be sitting down on stools. We're all moving around. We have sneakers and we're ready to rock. We're ready to hop around and do stuff on stage. And that guy crouching down, he looks like he's ready to shoot baskets or jump or something, you know. He says action, and the guy's smiling. That's fun. So it's a good photo, and it tells you somewhat what style they play. It's something fun, you know that. Okay, now from all of these photos, we're going to go back to the very first photo. Now look at these guys again. And they could be anything. We don't know for sure what they are. And now you've seen all the other images. They could be any one of those bands, but we're not sure what they are based on this first photo. So when you're doing your promo pictures, make sure you sit down together as a band and decide, hey, this is our genre. We're hard rock. We have to really dress the part. Look, I'll give you an example. I'm not going to ramble on about this too much, but I'll give you at least one really good example. Motley Crue. Look at their band name, Motley Crue. What do they look like? They look like a Motley Crue. They come out on stage and they all look like like that hardest rock band in here. Tommy Lee's crazy on stage. And, you know, they all look the part, and it all went together. And their music was like that. So their music, their look, their name, everything went together. And that's how it should be for your band, even though you're local, to make your image more professional and to make it easier to sell to a venue owner also. they're looking for a certain type of music, and they'll know, or hopefully they'll know right away what type of music you play just by looking at your image. So these are just some tips. Let me know what you guys think and how you dress, and let me know in the comments. And my name's Nick Segre. We'll see you next time on Hey, Let's Start a Band.